Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Knife channel. In this video we're going to review SuperCoach AFL after round 2 of the 2024 season. And I guess a disappointing week for us with 1,963. Probably, considering it's top 18, anything around 2,000 was good, but there was a lot of high scoring players that we missed out on this week. And a couple of our picks that didn't exactly fire up this week. So, but it is what it is. We made a slight increase overall, but still languishing in the top 26%. So, definitely room for improvement. But we'll have a look at the team and see where we've gone wrong. I've already previewed the changes there. Might just go again. Bollocks to this. I'll just flick to that maybe to reset, and I'll just edit. Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Knife channel. In this video we're reviewing round 2 of our AFL SuperCoach for the 2024 season. So another average week for us. 1,963 points, which was top 28% for the round, and as you can see, it was a slight increase in round rank and a slight increase in overall rank. So still sitting around 45,000k. So just inside the top 50,000, but we definitely want to try to improve that result. But we'll have a look at the team and see where it went wrong. And I guess the first one was Nick Dacos only scoring at 54. Obviously, only vice captain, so it wasn't the biggest issue in the world. But when you're paying so much for a player, you do want a few more points. But he'll bounce back. It's no need to panic. We've probably got bigger issues to worry about in our team. Harry Sheezel's good though with 113, so he's probably the strongest pick so far in our defence. So yeah, we're going to keep him probably for the season. Hayden Young with a 62, so on the back of his 70 last week. I think it's time to hit the panic button on him. Wasn't overly convinced by the pick at the start of the season. It was more the favourable draw for Freo and all the preseason hype and everyone sort of being on him. But I think a lot of people are going to get off him this week, and I'm going to join in on the fun. Buderick with a 46, so actually lost some cash, which isn't ideal. And maybe another one that can make way this week, or we can sort of fix up issues elsewhere and move him on later on in the season. D'Ambrosio with 87, so we were tossing up between him and Hor. So actually I should have gone through my trades. I did write them on the notepad here. So we traded out Fisher for Billings. Gibkiss went out and we sort of used all our DPP to get to Tom Berry. And Reed was the third one we traded out. We boosted. And we were tossing up between Hor or D'Ambrosio, as I said. I thought, well, we could save 100 grand and get Hor in, but based on Hor getting a 12 or something like that, I think D'Ambrosio was the right pick, and definitely one we'd want to bring in this week anyway. So it sort of made sense to go early on him. In hindsight, we could have maybe gone Buderick to D'Ambrosio and just sort of benched Reed, given it was best 18 anyway. So little error there, but these things happen. Howes has been good, so 68 made, what's that, about 70k. Have a quick look, yeah, 70k, I'm almost on the dot. He's going to make some more money, so great pick there. Williams on the bye, so he'll just come back in this week for Buderick, pretty straightforward. And Caulfield getting injured, so it was likely to happen. Just unfortunate it happened so early in the game. So not one to panic on though. Obviously this week is best 18, so we can probably fix up some other things first and then worry about Caulfield down the track. In the midfield, we had Bonampelli with a 136 as our captain, so, solid as ever. Butters with a 175, so that was really awesome to see on Sunday Arvo. His score just going up and up and up. So, pretty happy with that pick. Caleb Sarong sort of, reinforced his 170 with another 140 this week. So I know he's a target for a lot of people, so we won ahead there, but obviously a few behind in other spots. Matty Rao with a 99. So I guess, none of the Suns were that impressive against the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were just too good. Um, so, we're keeping Rao. We're not panicking on him. And there might be an argument not to panic on these other guys too, but there is certainly, an argument to getting out of some of those picks. Martin was better from all accounts, but with a 93 and a high break even this week of 123, it may be that we just look for a better cash making option. I'm in that position. Matty Roberts with a 94 was awesome. He's one we should be looking to play every week. Reed with a 63, that's probably about right. McKercher was good again with 95, so, keeping him in the run on team. Sanders with a 99, so obviously bounced back, played the full game. Caulfield going out early probably helped with the sub risk. But that's what, everyone was bringing him in for at the start of the year is he's capable of those sort of scores. Wilson with a 59, he's just ticking along doing his thing. And Clark bounced back this week with a 60. So, we can keep him for the time being. Our rucks, so Grundy with a 99, so he's got a, highish break even, but we'll sort of keep the faith that he'll, keep moving in the right direction. And Cherry with 108, so, he'll make some money this week for sure, break even to 16. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he is just a enabler to, or a stepping stone, I should say, to get us to one of the guns a bit later in the season. In the forward line, so Isaac Heaney, continues to carve up with a 128. Pretty much, I would say a lock for, F1 to 6, and our best 6 in the forward line. Flanders with 102. So, just the midfield numbers for the Suns are pretty similar, between Rowell, Anderson, Miller, Flanders. So, you can take your pick of as many or as few of them as you want. You sort of know what you're getting week on week. I've obviously gone with the 2. But after the bye this week, Miller will be very interesting as well as an option. James Jordan with the 88, so making a good chunk of cash. Good role, averaging 85. Keep that going. Fife apparently had a little bit of an injury and got subbed off. So 69 points is okay. But has a nice break even, still negative 12, so should make some money this week. Or will make some money as long as he gets on the field. Billings with a 69, so obviously, not the 100 that he got last week. But his break even has now reset at negative 34. So he made 30k last week, should make, at least 44k there, according to the projection at 62. So I think, that's fair to expect that this week. Tom Berry, though, had a bit of a flop game, so we brought him in for Fisher. Fisher turned up. Berry obviously flopped, but given the amount of cash we had, we sort of had to, I guess, do that to facilitate the other moves with D'Ambrosio and Billings. So it wasn't all bad. He did make 44k, 45k essentially. So, maybe option will trade out this week. We'll just have to weigh it all up. But Cadman, wasn't overly convinced on this pick going into the season, but, scored a 90, negative 52 break even, made 66.5k. So that's going to work out really well for us. Plays the Suns next week based on how poor they were against the Dogs. Could load up again. And like just looking at his projected break evens there, he's probably got a couple of weeks more cash to make, and then we can do what we want to do. And Sexton with a 47, so apparently got shifted forward late in the game, which is not ideal, but still made 50k. So, that's nice. Still got a negative break even. So, probably not a panic trade, but, might not be the great pick we all thought he was in the preseason. So, guess looking at the league as well. So, I think this was a close one. Yep. So, Wardlaw and Order got me by 9 points. Always hurts, but he had Tom Green as captain. So, I was watching the scores, just going, oh no, I know. I thought I had Reed playing, so I thought I was a chance, but yeah, just the way the numbers worked out was he had set 9 more. So obviously having Luke Jackson was helpful too. I guess if you had Luke Jackson and lost in head to head, you'd be a bit filthy. Um, but yeah, Gorn with 113 as well, so outscoring my rucks. Bontempelli had Wines with a 99. I think people were hoping for triple digits from Wines, but it hasn't come yet. But yeah, had a lot of the players the same. So I had Butters as well. So that would have been a nice pot I would have liked to have had. So just looking at it, I can't really work it out, but it must be Jackson was the difference. Like 30 points on Sarong. I guess Gordon's Cherry weren't that far off. Wines and McKercher. Yeah, so it was really that because it was only 9 points difference in the end. But yeah, I guess the reason we faded Jackson was because he wasn't going to be the ruck forever, but he has had some nice matchups in terms of who he's been up against in the ruck. So it is what it is. But if we have a bit of a quick look across the league, looks like top scorer for us was Kickass, who that name's familiar, maybe from BBL SuperCoach. Jim, you might have to let me know. But Matt Crouch with a 128, he's been, I guess if you went him over Martin, you've probably been cheering. Um, had Jackson as well, which I think was key to getting a good score this week. Have Tim English as well, that's pretty good, having him in. Elliot Yeo with a 110, really good. Tommy Stewart, 134. So definitely, a few of these players we don't have going off. Libber with a 115, nice. And yeah, having like Cadman and Campbell on the bench, it's probably a bit stiff as well. So I guess that's probably the other thing too. If I just quickly go back to my head to head, if it wasn't best 18, probably would have had like, um, who was it? So like Hayden Young 62, Butterick's 46 over the likes of Caulfield's 3, you know, Bonner's 49. So I think, the best 18 definitely helped this week with head to head, but I didn't play it that well. So that's how it goes. But in terms of the trades this week, I've already fired up the the little guy there. I think this is another week where prices are going to start rising, so we do have to keep on top. And the watch list I have adjusted, so Yo's still very much there after his 110. Carroll and Lyons obviously on the buy this week, so it'll just be more, you know, who we can afford, where we can afford it. Sharp and Dempsey were okay, obviously viable cheap options. But then I've added this week Jack Steele with his 120. He offers pretty good value at 530 in the midfield. Nasiah Wanganeen Miller with a 120, so averaging 110. And that was with Jack Sinclair back in the lineup. So Riley Bonner was on my watch list, but with Jack Sinclair back, he sort of lost his role. But Nasiah looks like he's going to potentially be that one that goes to the next level this season. Matt Crouch with the 128, so as you can see, averaging 120. So, if you had him over Martin, you're cheering. Um, that could be the move to sideways to him. Tom Powell was another one with a 129 on top of a 95 in round one. So, a nice mid price option in our forward line that could go up in value pretty quickly. And Sam Darcy. So this is one more for next week. But 109 on debut at 124k. Definitely, it would be nice to get one more week out of these guys before we had to trade to him, but it may not be the case. So there, I guess my thoughts on the options. But when I look at my team, I really think that the area that needs fixing is the defense. Um, I think we've definitely got to get out of Hayden Young, um, and also, I think it would be nice to get out of Buderick. Because I guess at the moment, if we've got to play William Howes and then like potentially a Caulfield or Buderick, it's not too nice. But if we can sort of get one of these guys on the bench, probably happy to rotate between them as D6. So I think if we can get out of Buderick would be nice. Um, and so with that, probably what I'm leaning towards is if I go to my watch list. So I guess the only defenders on there are sort of these mid-price guys. All right, so I guess this is why I've got the trade boost. Is I think I need to make these moves, bring these guys in, but we do need to find an extra 75k. And so then the question is, how do we come about that? Um, so it could be something as simple as trading out of a Berry, only made us 45k. But getting into say like a Carroll, that's one option. Um, but I guess the issue with this one would be thinking ahead. Is next week we do want to bring Tom Green in. So I don't know if I actually talked about Tom Green at all during that, but I did because Wardlaw and Order captained him. But yeah, he's one that we sort of thought about bringing in a week early, but we thought he won't get away from us in price even with that massive game. He only went up about 30k, but that is 650k. So what we would have to do is trade out Martin next week. But then we've got to find 150k. So it would be something like trading out a Fife down to Darcy. All right. But then what we risk as well is with Martin's break even of 123, that he will leak some cash. Whereas at least with Berry, he's not going to make any cash, but he's definitely not going to lose any this week. So, got to reset. That's fine. So if we bring in Carroll for Martin, we bank close to 300k this week, but that's going to allow us to make that Fife to um, Green move much easier next week. Because if we look at say Fife with the -12, you know, that's fine. We could use Jordan potentially if I know there's some Sydney midfielders got to come back into the fold. Um, so I think this is probably the way to go. And then we'll bring I'll just say House. Well, actually, I think Carlton play earlier. So yeah, good Friday game. Nice. So we play Williams on the bench with the emergency. We could loop him in with probably through Caulfield if he's injured. Um, Sanders can start for Rowell. Might even get Flanders up in there. And you could probably do something similar with Carroll. Loop him in. Obviously, it's best 18 as well, so the loophole probably less of a factor, but that's fine. And then we've still got 5 playing in the forward line, so probably Cadman's earned his spot on the running side. No need to really have the emergency there. But where else can we put it realistically? So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, so it's best 18 again. So we've got 21 options on field, plus our 2 loopers. So I think we'll be okay for this week. But yeah, obviously, I guess similar to this video, I'll note my final trades down on the notepad. So the Lions and Collingwood on Thursday night. So Dacos, we'll keep the VC. Um, and then the Bont against West Coast could be massive. So we'll lock that in. We'll leave that as it is for the time being, and we'll obviously review next week how we went. But yeah, that's all for this video. So obviously, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to get them below this video. Um, if you like the AFL content, remember to give the videos a like. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.